All right, perfect. We are live. This is the first of our Monday review shows, and we've got Aaron the Dog joining us for the first one. Thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to be here off of a crazy, all the pay-per-views delivered this year, for sure.
Yeah, man. There's so much to talk about as well, and we will get into what we just were speaking about off air. But
Yeah.
the first thing I want to discuss, because it is just mental to me that it happened, and it's going to be a whole new video for me, which is all about Pena and Nunes. It's the first thing I wanted to talk about because I had her in every single parlay accumulate. Where I think most people did.
Yeah.
I think Pena's ruined a lot of people's weekends, in a sense.
I definitely didn't bet it too hard, being a 10-1 favorite, but I did certainly bet the finish. I was all on the submission train for Nunes, so that's really ruined on that. But yeah, crazy. I mean, maybe the biggest upset ever.
That's what the video will be.
It's close.
Yeah,
it's close. I think it's got to be up there. The way it was done wasn't just a lucky shot either. That's the I think other crazy part. And then Nunes was just looking to tap there at the end, and like you really just kind of do a lot of hindsight all of a sudden with just everything. Once a big upset like this happens, anytime this happens, but crazy. It overshadows a great main event by far. Sorry, Charles. Again, Charles, this will remain in the shadows where he would rather be, I think, than to have anyways. Like, and he can just keep being an underdog and winning. But yeah, Nunes and Pena is the story.
Yeah, exactly. And it just looked like Nunes gassed. It looked like she just wasn't in shape for this fight. She maybe took it too lightly. I'm not too sure. Maybe she's got other priorities at the moment. But she was out of gas in about 3 minutes flat, and she was plodding along. She didn't look like her normal sniper self. The movement wasn't there, and Pena looked crap as well in the striking. She didn't look great. She was standing, swinging, and missing half the shots.
It didn't even look like they were hard shots either.
No.
Not to be that person, but like it didn't look like there were these shots that just made Nunes realized she was in there with like another beast. Is this?
Yeah.
I mean, how many knockouts does Pena have in her career? I don't think any.
Yeah.
Or very few.
Ultimate Fighter might go back dating to that. Yeah.
Right, and this wasn't a knockout either, since she got the sub at the end. But I mean, it was the way that Nunes tapped to that submission. She was tapping before it was locked in. It was like the way that someone taps when they're like really hurt from shots, and it's just like. I mean, I saw shots land repeatedly from both sides, and really way more credit to Pena. Not on the finish, but not being finished by Nunes, because while Nunes was gassed, she was landing some shots there. That I think one or two of those I really expected to put Pena down. I think Nunes did too. And there's been questions about Nunes' gas tank forever. That's how you beat her back in the day, and then. Maybe there was a little bit of an illusion that she had solved that because she could be up, like she was against Felicia Spencer, where, yes, that went 5 rounds, but that's a different kind of taxing when each round you're winning 10-8 or better.
So or fighting Valentina and banking the first 2 rounds almost, Yeah,
and fighting Valentina, and, that who knows what they do with that at this point. I get Dana White all of a sudden comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we had Kayla Harrison we had her all signed up. This was a done deal. Like all of a sudden Nunes loses, and now the Kayla Harrison Nunes fight was like done for million." He was like, they were both gonna be millionaires. He was like, they were gonna like he's gonna take advantage of this, as Dana White does, and act like he was about to pay millions of dollars and be like, "Fighter pay, what are you talking about? They didn't do it. It's their fault." Now Nunes fights Pena again and is, a minus 300 favorite this time around instead of a minus 1,000 favorite. Everybody still picks Nunes, and we'll see. I know I'm still picking Nunes after that. I'm not all of a sudden thinking Pena has because I think Pena had a good night while Nunes had a terrible night. And I'm gonna believe that next time around too.
Yeah, if just a bad weight cut, it could be something so simple. Just struggled throughout
So
camp.
so far, it does not seem that having a child has helped Amanda or Nina Nunes in their fight career.
It's true that.
I think
Absolutely.
that since Regan has entered fight nights and like fight weeks, especially, maybe not being born, but since they're like bringing her to face-offs and everything now, I'm not sure Nunes has won.
Mm. You reckon it's going to hinder her in the next time?
I mean, I'm going to.
She's now this. Now this is the path
I
for Nunes.
it's just weird what happens. It's just weird what happens with fighting, because when the happier you are in the sport of mixed martial arts, the worse fighter you are usually. I mean, it takes away from who you are as a fighter. That instinct to keep, I mean, she was okay with going home. And like she was smiling still in the octagon after she tapped. She's like, "Yeah, it wasn't my night. If I can go home to my wife and my kid, I'm happy, and I don't have to train for a while. And I don't really even like training at this point." And I don't think that I get Amanda Nunes is still at American Top Team, but is she, or is she just like in a corner at American Top Team when she finally has to do camp again and then gets kind of a few people to come over? We'll talk about that in the main event too, with Dustin. I think that's the reason Dustin lost. A huge reason Dustin lost, though. When you're sharpening with Sabah Hamasi and Sidney Outlaw instead of some of the best in the world, you're going with those guys. No offense. And with Amanda Nunes, I'm not sure who she's really training with. Anytime you see her, it looks like she's just getting specialty one-on-one training. And, I'm not sure the gas tank was ever solved.
Right. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I think you're right with the illusion, because she's fighting. I wouldn't say B-level competition because she's an A star, but I would say the level below just wasn't anywhere near. With example, Felicia Spencer. You just smashing her up for 5 rounds, or Raquel Pennington smashing her up for 5 rounds. Yeah. It's just beat downs, isn't it? Body bags.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of, then let's get into the main event, because it was overshadowed, as you say, because Pena was just got the shock.
Poor Pena, no one's going to give her any credit either, man. We didn't even, I don't know if we even mentioned that Juliana Pena won. I think we just basically said Amanda Nunes everything.
Yeah, Amanda Nunes lost.
Talk about motivation for Pena. She's not going to just rest on her laurels as champion here, because she's going to get this much credit.
Yeah.
0. She's getting no credit.
Yeah.
And that's a great position for her.
Wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could be the person who was on Pena this time and going to be on her again. I'm on Nunes next time. I will have to see something really scare me away from Nunes. But if she loses again, man, that's a wrap on the career.
I agree.
You can't lose to Juliana Pena twice.
Someone that got subbed by a Dutch kickboxer. Yeah. It's
But yeah, the 135 division is up for grabs.
Yeah, for sure. Charlie Boy.
Yeah.
Charlie Olives rocked again in the first, survives the first, dominates the second, and then does something I don't think many people saw him do, which is backpacking him and choking him within the first minute of the third round, which was phenomenal.
Crazy.
Phenomenal. That needs more credit as well. That was just one hook in, didn't bother going for 2, wanted the wrist control instead, didn't get sliding off, and Dustin gave his neck again.
Yep. Again, he chokes again. I don't know. We'll see what Dustin does. I personally think he's done.
Yeah.
And if he does come back, I'd see it at probably 170 and probably going against Colby Covington. That's the only kind of thing I could kind of see going. But I think his time at 155 is done. And most likely, I think in the sport, I think he's done. I think that you're never the same after you get involved in the Conor McGregor ordeal. And there was just that bit of extra motivation that wasn't there against a better fighter in Charles Oliveira. And the crazy part of this, speaking of Conor McGregor, is, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of people saying I'm mad, I'm crazy. I give him a really good shot against Charlie Oliveira, because I do not think that first round power from Conor is necessarily the best plan of attack for Charlie Oliveira here. Not a lot of first round finishes for Dustin Poirier. As hard as he hits and stuff, the first round kind of strike finishes aren't really there. And that 155 cut is brutal. The older he gets, and that more comfortable and happy he gets. I mean, his head just, again, like Nunes, his head was not in there. And I am very impressed that Charlie Oliveira got the back, but I'm also very not impressed that Dustin allowed that position.
Yeah.
Not that he allowed it because Oliveira's that good, but that is that is just not. I just don't think you aren't preparing for that position, aren't preparing for those moments, and they happened in 2 straight rounds. Happened at the end of the second round too for Dustin, and then third round he just had nothing left. Charles Oliveira still hasn't been to a 4th round of a title fight.
Yeah,
crazy. So, but the thing I was most impressed with Charles, and I think what really won him the fight, was all the body work. The body kicks,
the knees.
We're going to see. I'm calling it right now. The front kick to the body is going to be the strike of 2022, because it is just it. You can just be moving and just throw it up. It does not have to be forceful. It has to interrupt the breathing, as you know, as a striker like this. And it is something any kicker, anybody can do. It's not a highly technical move. It's annoying. It keeps your distance. It keeps you safe. You can throw
it's the kicks version of a jab. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it maintains distance management.
And
exactly.
It completely kept that water adding up to the basement of Dustin, where it was just like he was like, and I think because they weren't hard, he's like, just kept taking them. He's like, whatever. You sit down, organs move around a little bit. They start to whatever. I'm not a sports scientist here, but that to me, it was those repeated strikes, and Dustin wasn't covering up from them either. And I just think that those really wore him down. Again, we got 2 submissions for the last 2 fights that were completely set up by the strikes of both these people. So, again, Tapology surfing doesn't work. You got to really look at these 2 submissions, which the reason they won was their strikes.
Yeah.
At this point, Charlie Oliveira is now going to go from supremely underrated to supremely overrated. And we're going to see how he handles that. I think a lot of people will hold off until he faces Islam. I think a lot of people still expect Islam is who's going to beat him. I think they're going to set up Charlie Oliveira versus Conor McGregor. I just do. I'm not a Conor McGregor fan. I know I probably have sounded like one in the last few minutes. I'm more just looking at somehow Conor McGregor has found a way, especially with how the UFC is making a lot of their decisions now, that he's going to be in a title fight his next fight, whether you like it or not. He's won 1 fight in 5 years. We know, blah, 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 blah. Get it? We get it. All that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the UFC still isn't crazy about Charlie Oliveira. I can tell you that much. Most people don't know who Charlie Oliveira is still. Hardcore fans, obviously we do. We see it. But that's not what Dana's interested in. We're going to be there no matter what, including if they put Conor McGregor in the main event. We're all going to be lining up with Charlie Oliveira, Team MMA versus Team Conor. We've been here many times. So, and, I just think that fight will be seriously intriguing. And you put Conor against Dustin again. No one wants to watch that at all. That was a wrap. That matchup was decided. Dustin's winning that 9 times out of 10. He just is, especially with after the, but Charlie Oliveira versus Conor, I still favor Charlie Oliveira, but I give Conor 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10.
Anything past the first round, I would give to Charles Oliveira. Yeah, I mean, Conor's jiu-jitsu doesn't get enough credit. He has extremely good jiu-jitsu defense. He uses it, obviously, from a defensive point of view, and same with his defensive wrestling. He did really well against Khabib in the first round. He was stuffing so many takedowns. He was really great flexibility.
Conor has the first 2 rounds tops, but yes, again, 5 rounds, Charlie Oliveira should get it, but of the top, people in the divisions, I think this is where Conor has the best chance.
I agree. Charles Oliveira gets hit a lot, and Conor famously hits the hardest.
Conor beats Chandler, I think. I
think Conor beats Chandler.
Yeah, but other than that,
I don't think he beats Gaethje.
No, he doesn't beat Gaethje. I don't think he doesn't beat I don't think he beats Beneil Dariush. I don't think he beats Islam Makhachev.
Definitely doesn't beat Makhachev. Definitely not.
I mean, Dariush has been finished a couple times.
Dariush is got that little thing about him, though. You know,
is he good enough? Is he top 5, or is he?
He's not stupid.
Or is he George Soteropoulos, where it's like, like he's just like world class against the bottom 10. But then,
yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, we're about to find out a lot. But yeah, I mean, either way, that tweet from Conor is ominous to me as a fan, because I think that I really do think they're going to do that next. I don't think they want to see Conor against Islam Makhachev, so they're going to wait to make Makhachev champ however long they can, which is probably 1 or 2 more fights. Yeah. So this is their chance to get Conor a belt again. This is the last chance to get Conor a belt. And frankly, like, Charlie Oliveira and him have kind of been circling the wagons around each other for a few years, and he's like kind of always been brought up as one of the guys maybe Conor would face. And, you know, I mean, I'd still give Charlie the benefit.
And he's not going to say no to the money fight either. So money and a title fight.
Not one fighter in that top 5 would say no to Conor. Not one.
No, exactly.
Dustin's praying to the hot sauce heavens right now. That it's like, sure,
I think Diaz is praying at the moment.
No, they're all praying. They're all circling around the red panties.
Yeah. No, it's a good one for sure. What? So Dustin, for you, if he fights again, it's going to be 170. If not, probably
170 against Covington. You can bring up bring up all the gym drama again. Like,
there's a narrative. Yeah.
There's a narrative. It's a really good fight. It's an intriguing matchup. They really match up well together. I mean, Dustin wins at 170. It gets interesting for sure.
Maybe he goes for that 170 belt. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many fights at 170 for him. So I just think 155, it's done. Overall, I think he's done. But if he's fighting again, 170, Colby Covington.
Heard it here. That's the thing.
Yeah.
How did you score Jeff Neal and Ponzinibbio?
That was tough. I picked Jeff Neal.
Only 27 Jeff Neal, one judge.
I mean, this is the problem, is that when you get that, then all of a sudden you're just by nature wanting to see something. What was the 30-27 a couple of weeks ago? The split decision.
Oh, Davey Grant.
Yes. So what that causes everybody to completely discredit Davey Grant's performance. They said 30-27 is so wrong. That judge didn't know he was talking about. Like, obviously it's Giannis. Now, it was 29-28. Anybody gets a 30-27 there, that's wrong. Yeah. And the winner, I had it for Jeff Neal.
I did as well, just
barely. And Jeff Neal,
you would not have been mad if Santiago won 29-28. No. Same as you wouldn't have been mad if Davey Grant won 29-28. It was.
Exactly. It just wasn't 30-27. It wasn't 30-27 for anybody. And you know, the thing with Jeff Neal is that it was very publicized how tumultuous his couple of weeks were. I think that's kind of overhyped by outside people. I think fighters have crazy shit going on all the time. They're moving. They got terrible relationships. I talked to enough of them and talked to them about their personal lives. Like, there is that's like I was saying earlier with Amanda Nunes. The turmoil is part of what makes these fighters great. So, like, frankly, getting that dude, whatever. He's the only fighter drinking during camp. Sure, okay, guys, keep living in your little, Dorothy Elbrick Road. It's like, come on. So the thing with Ponzinibbio is that him making it back, he's made it back as 80% of who he was. And 80% of who he was is damn good. Before he got injured, what was he, 29-2 overall?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
on a crazy run in the UFC.
Yeah, like deadly finisher.
He might have been top 5 ranked before he got injured, and then he got pushed out of the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like 31 fights, he lost 2. Like, come on, it doesn't matter who you're facing. And he was facing some super good guys, and now he's come back. I really questioned his chin, and I can see he does too, and it's led him to being kind of a point fighter. Yeah. And I mean, you're a point fighter. You're taking risks. He had every opportunity in the third round to step on that gas, and if he would have won that fight. If he would have stepped up the volume a little bit, he would have won that, because no matter how it's Saif Saeed, is that who Is the
That was
Florida
Jeff. That was
coach?
Jeff Neal. That was Jeff Neal's.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was in the corner, just like, this is, you need like 5 minutes. Like, I always have a hard time with Safe Sayud in fights where his fighters struggling with gas. I really don't think he's that impressive in fights. I think a lot of what he must do must be outside of the fights in the preparation, because his advice in fights is like, get in his ass.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, dude, he said nothing. He's like, do you want this? You're going to regret not want. Like, it's very like motivational. And I mean, it didn't work there. Jeff Neal won in spite like of himself there, because Jeff Neal just had nothing left. He's not a decision fighter. He definitely, I think if he would have lost that decision, I'm not sure where we're seeing him get a win in the UFC, because he's very lucky he got this win, because his confidence is shaken still from the Wonder Boy fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like sometimes you hit that level and it inspires you. Sometimes it does the opposite. Seems like it's gotten Neal to question himself. Now he's trying to kind of hold back a little bit, have more left, and he's just not a decision fighter. He needs to go in there and look for finishes, which I don't love, but he's just not a decision fighter. And this was a really close decision. I could have accepted either way. I just think Ponzinibbio, he's 80% of what he used to be. I mean, damn near died from the inspections he had from surgery. So it is amazing he's back, but you get knocked out by Li Jingliang. I mean,
that was a bad knockout as well. His legs were shaking for a while.
Exactly. So it's like it's another recovery. He's getting older. Yeah. Absolutely. So
I also thought the commentary was quite weird, because they kept saying that Ponzinibbio, he likes this. He likes a dirty, brawly fight, and I was I was like, what are they talking about? That's not him at all. He's a technical striker. It was a bit weird, but
yeah, Dominic Cruz said it best, that Daniel Cormier doesn't do his homework, and he doesn't, and it's clear with a lot of different instances. They're for entertainment. They're driving a lot of people to have kind of false opinions about MMA, but it is what it is. I often just kind of tune them out. It was a really close fight, and I still don't think it should have been third from the top on one of the biggest cards of the year. I think that was a weird call.
No, the fact Dominic Cruz was on a prelim, we can get to that.
Before Sean O'Malley.
And I mean, both fights were good. Let's start with Sean O'Malley then, because my video on Sean O'Malley v. Raulian Paiva is, even though Raulian Paiva's got like a win over Kaikara, for instance, and he's got some decent wins on his record is very bloated. It's 21-3 before this fight. He's not a 21-3 fighter at all.
Right.
He does not, like, Kyler Phillips was beating the shit out of him for about 6 minutes before he completely gassed out. And it still went that long.
Yep.
So the point I had made on the video, it did quite well as well, the video, which was Sean O'Malley's getting a highlight reel knockout within one round. It's just stylistically, he's gone to Alpha Male Paiva to learn wrestling to defeat Sean in 6 weeks. I don't understand the logic there. It was just a crazy thing for me, because Sean could have fought anybody. He got offered Paiva, according to Sean, which is mad for the UFC, because they don't want to rush him into something and obviously watch him fall, like a Johnny Walker, for instance, someone that's got so much hype and crazy knockouts, and then all of a sudden they throw him to the deep end and the train's gone. Sage Northcutt-esque. But we can see that Sean's a different beast altogether. And then Paiva gets smashed like that. It just proves everyone's point. It proves everybody's point, and I don't know why it's on the main card. What's this? Anyone that actually watches MMA knows Rogan has no idea what he's actually talking about. Alex.
I mean, Rogan. Yeah,
half the time in the commentary, he's biased because he's a personality. That's why he's there, isn't he? He's the OG.
They all just have too many friends. They always have too many friends and people they're close to, and they have very specific gyms they care about. And these are all like very good reminders of the argument that we need more fighters to be judges. No, we don't.
No,
we don't. No. That is not the solution to this, because we're going to see that kind of bias just like come through with judging. I'm good on that. But yeah, Sean O'Malley did good. I mean, the finish was okay. I get he's going to get a TKO there, but again, a few of his TKOs have been the ref stopping the fight. And like, I get it. His opponents are not defending themselves. He's landing at will, and part of it is intelligently defending yourself to get the stoppage. But, like, these aren't knockouts. These are stoppages, ref stoppages. And I get it's technical, but it's like he's not landing and walk. Yes, Eddie Wineland happened, but for the most part, he's not doing that. The Paiva one, it was fine. Paiva is very hittable. He's like just not a very good fighter, and yeah, it's a deceiving record. Shouldn't have been on the main card, but UFC has some boxing tendencies, and they're never shown more than with Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all you can say for Sean, I guess. He's highlight reel. That's it, isn't it? But God, then who he replaced on the main card was Dominic Cruz and Pedro Munoz, which was a good fight, a very good fight, in my opinion. For Dom Cruz, it's just the most perfect outcome for him. Mm-hmm. He looked
perfect matchup. Facing a 35-year-old, a fellow 35-year-old.
Yep. Who plods and doesn't move, as we discussed, I believe. When I was talking about it with you before, it's just Dominic has all the movement. I talked about it with Brad Wheeler as well, and we just both thought this is a crazy matchup for Pedro because he literally showed against Aldo. He just stands still, and against Frankie
Edgar,
one
of the slowest striker. Yeah, he's one of the slowest strikers in the division, and facing a guy who depends on movement and defense. And it's just it's like there's not a lot of 35-year-olds that Dominic Cruz is going to get to face, and he faced Pedro Munoz. He was an underdog against Pedro Munoz. I get people, we don't like his personality. He's not a great commentator, and none of that matters when he's in the octagon.
Dominic Snooze, I think I hear people call him
Dominic Snooze, Dominic Mute. He looked great. Physically, he looked good. He's never going to be a powerful guy, and that's just fine. Like, he doesn't need to be. He's going to continue to be these slow, one-dimensional strikers. And Pedro Munoz, what can you say about Pedro Munoz? You just look at certain matchups, and you don't even have to look at who he's fighting. You just kind of look at how much is at stake, and you're like, Munoz is going to lose. You just can't explain it. He's going to lose. Yeah, he should have beat Edgar, but he didn't. He should, but he just doesn't. He beats Jimmy Rivera and no higher than a Cody Stamen, no higher. That's that's good for me.
He's now the gatekeeper, isn't he?
For however long he's left too. Munoz.
Yeah, how long has he got left at 35?
Yeah, the young Punisher is 35 years old. I make the joke every time. I'm like, it's time to get rid of the young at least. And probably the Punisher part too. It's been a while since Cody Garbrandt happened.
Yeah, gone.
Which, speaking of Cody.
That's a bet. That's a bet that I paid. That paid off.
Yeah. And again, underdog in Kai Kara France. This main card was all underdogs who won. All 5 fights, underdogs. Except 4 of the 5, not O'Malley, obviously.
Not O'Malley. Yeah.
But the other 4 were all underdogs. Jeff Neal ended up closing as an underdog against Ponzinibbio, which I think had to do with off the DWI and the weapons charge, honestly. Because otherwise, and 2 people forgetting who Jeff Neal is because goldfish memory of MMA fans.
Forgetting the Frank Camacho head kick,
Yeah. Well, knocking out Frank Camacho, Justin James can also talk about that. So, knocking out Frank Camacho, I love banking off Frank Camacho.
I think he killed Frank Camacho in that.
Frank Camacho was such a chump. I'm sorry. I hope he recovers from his car accident and everything, obviously. But talk about wolf tickets. Every time I could bet against Frank Camacho, I bet against Frank Camacho. And it paid off. Kai Kara France, I was betting against Cody Garbrandt, making a cut at 30 years old to 125. And then every picture I saw, the weigh-ins, everything, he looked ill. He looked sunk in. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if he was a small bantamweight. He was a small fat flyweight too, and he looked sucked out. His chin was bad at 135. It was even worse at 125. Kai Kara France is not a big bopper here. I get he has a couple knockouts on the record, but I was betting Kai Kara France to get to a decision, go in and out, be quicker, movement, volume. I was not expecting that. Cody Garbrandt, good luck to you in bare knuckle fighting whenever you get over there because you'll do great. And so otherwise in the UFC, I just don't know who I'd pick you against. ever. When he's
That's
facing
the
off with
question, isn't it?
when he's facing off with Sean O'Malley at a fight with Kai Kara-France, I'm just like, Kai must be loving this so much, like that. He's like, oh, I could beat you at Sean at 125. It's like, dude, this dude is punch drunk before he's getting punched. Cody Garbrandt should retire. He's bad.
I don't know why I think that as well. I have it written down about, and I have Garbrandt retire ? Just because is he going to fight Lewis Smolka?
Right. Like what are you going to do? Fight the opener on the prelims now and maybe get knocked out again?
How you like when he fought Asuncao, we all thought he's back. He's under Mark Henry. He's more calculated, whatever. And then he goes straight back to doing what he was doing before, which was be super emotional, let it all go, and just get cracked in the chin. It happened with Pedro.
I think I got Munoz confused. I think I got Munoz confused with Asuncao a little while ago with the Cody knockout. Asuncao and Munoz are the same guy as far as I'm concerned. It's like two very boring Brazilians who fuck up against the top of them. Has Munoz and Asuncao fought each other yet?
No, I don't think so.
Go ahead. Fight.
There you go.
Have them fight a prelim.
Yeah, whoever wins is the gatekeeper. Whoever loses,
that fight is going 15 minutes, and it's going to be like -1,000.
A draw.
Yeah, -1. That would probably be a draw. It'd be so close and boring. But anyways, Kai Kara-France, shout out to him. Great performance.
So he's called out. He's called out the champ though. He's called out Moreno or Figueiredo the winner. Do you reckon he'll get it, or do you reckon he has to do one more?
No, he's going to have to at least do one more. I don't think you get to beat Cody Garbrandt at 125 and get a title shot.
The only reason I ask is because Cody was scheduled to get it because of his name.
What's Askar doing?
Yeah, I don't think Kai wants that.
Of course not. Does anybody want Askar? No. Someone's gonna have to get him. Askar versus Moreno the first time was great. I think it went to a draw, if I remember correctly. Yeah. You put Askar against Kai Kara-France. Kai Kara-France probably pulls out with an injury a week or two before the fight, maybe like an oblique or something. Someone has to fight Askar. Askar gets a very boring decision. Dana thinks about, do I want to sacrifice Moreno to this half-deaf Russian beast who I can't sell? And then, I don't know what's going to happen. But, yeah. Askar should be fighting Kai Kara-France. So underrated. It should be Askar and Fig. Well, what do you mean Askar and Fig? Fig's fighting Moreno.
I was about to say, are you saying that Figueiredo beats Moreno and then Askar? Or he just should be fighting again?
People who pick Figueiredo over Moreno, I can be convinced into that.
It's so even. First fight was so one, and the other fight was so one-sided.
I just wonder if Davidson Figueiredo is a flyweight anymore. Like, he gets really, really big.
No, he loses.
Yeah, so then if Figueiredo loses, he'll go up to 135. He's not going to keep killing himself at one. So
he's missed weight a couple times as well, hasn't he? So
he's just huge. Unless he has a title, he's not going to have any motivation to. But yeah, I think Askar versus Kai Kara-France sometime early next year. Maybe you can even put it on the Whitaker Adesanya card in February.
Yeah. Which is that's a fight. We'll talk about that at a later date as well. That's just going to be mental. There'll be lots of videos.
That's a fight I won't believe until they're in there face off. It's just one of those for me. It keeps getting announced and mentioned, and until they're in there, I'm not going to believe it. But
there's 3 more fights I want to talk about on this one because I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a few that I'm not really caring about. No offense to them. One is another scoring issue I had with Josh Emmett and Danny Ige.
Okay. So you had it for Ige.
I had it for Ige. Okay. And you had Sal D'Amato doing it for 30-27 again for Josh Emmett. Yeah. Again. I think it's just like a few judges that do so because the UFC is only going to Texas, the Apex, Fight Island, and where's the other one? Whatever the other one is. Yeah. They're only doing 4 events at the moment, basically, over and over again. They're using the same judges for at least 3 of the events, especially the Vegas ones. Yeah. So you're getting Sal D'Amato on everything.
Did you notice that they're rotating out judges?
Yes.
They usually do that?
They normally have 5 judges, I think, for an event.
Oh, okay. I never noticed that.
And they sub a couple out.
Same 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like there was a couple where Salty Amato, like I didn't hear him, and then Chris Lee would pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't 30-27. Again, Dan Ige has a real problem with his fight style where he just fights so close. So it's like you see these splits over and over again. He's been on the short end of a couple of splits. He's been on the right end of a split with Edson Barbosa. But, you know, I mean, it's tough for me to be honest with this fight. I'm such a huge Josh Emmett fan. I was so relieved to see him get the win. It would have sucked to see Emmett battle back for 18 months and lose a close decision there. Oh, sorry, Dan, but Dan's going to be just fine.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
You know, I think that it's much more interesting for the division moving forward with an Emmett win here. I'm excited to see him back. He broke a UFC record on Saturday, and no one is really talking about. 7 straight fights, Josh Emmett has knocked down his opponent. No fighter in any weight class has done that. It was 6 by Liddell and a couple others. And he now 7 straight fights, he's knocked down his opponent. Knocked him down quick, and then knocked him down again to show what, like, Emmett is unreal, man. He is so driven. He's 36 years old, does not fight like it at all. He keeps his power through 3 or 5 rounds. I think Ige should have thrown triple the amount of leg kicks, though, period.
Yeah, they were landing.
They were landing. They were affecting. You're facing a dude with knee surgery. What are you doing? Like,
Emmett seems to get to that point where he gets put onto the main card, then he loses. Then he's a prelim fighter forever. He's not sellable in any way. He doesn't promote himself at all. He's
he's sellable with these knockdowns. Like, his power is sellable. Nothing else about him is.
But because he's on the prelims.
Yeah. I mean, who's he lost to? He lost to Jeremy Stevens by an illegal knee that they didn't call.
They didn't call that. Yeah.
What else? Is that his only loss at 145? I think so. I mean, he is right there now. Yeah. He's right there.
I remember he was meant to fight Arnold Allen, had to pull out.
What a fight that would be. I'd watch that fight right now.
Arnold.
I think Arnold Allen would school him too. I think Arnold Allen would deliver tons of leg kicks.
I might be having him on soon as well. Brad Wheeler's.
What the hell is he up to? Why is Arnold Allen fight once a year?
I think he's back in the UK at the moment training due to COVID and stuff. So because he normally fights at a TriStar, doesn't he? He's normally up in.
He normally fights once a year. I know that much.
Yeah, man. That's one of the questions that I want to ask.
So inactive.
But he's such a beast. He's never lost.
But he fights once a year.
I know. But
literally for the last 5 years, he fought once. But yeah, anyways,
he's a pro.
No, he's good. He's just got to keep staying in there.
Yeah, exactly that. And final one before we talk about the eye gouging, which is Tai Tuivasa getting another win against Sakai. I did not, after Sakai's technical ability against Overeem, where he did really well for 3 rounds, I was expecting Sakai to win this fight quite comfortably.
Me too.
Tai, man, I'm so happy because I love Tai. Everyone loves Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, everybody loves Tai.
How do you not? So I'm happy he won, but what a knockout that one is. There's a lot of knockouts on this card, a lot of finishes.
Yeah, I said before the card, I said it was going to be a lot of finishes this week after a really heavy couple weeks of decisions. And yeah, I was shocked. I thought Sakai was really going to be able to get the clinch a little more and take control from there. And I mean, he got the clinch, and Tai Tuivasa just did not stop punching once he got into the clinch. The takedowns were not there for either side, of course. Sakai's average of 0.014 takedowns per 15 minutes went down. That's how few takedowns he went for. And, I mean, Tai keeps that power for at least 7 minutes. And sure enough, right around the 7-minute mark, bing, put him down clean. Sakai was one of my more confident picks on the card. I just thought he was going to be way better technical, way better overall MMA game. But man, when a guy like Sakai loses, you feel so stupid betting on him. Because
I know what you mean.
He looks like shit, man.
He looked like shit, yeah.
He looked as bad as he fought. That, and it's just like some casual watching him be like, you bet on that guy? Like, what do you like? There's certain guys you just don't want to be wrong betting on, Sometimes I'm fine being wrong on every single Darren Elkins fight I get wrong. I live with it every single time. Because it's like, damn, he's going to fight for my money. I don't care if it's 30-20. He's fighting for my money.
Always
But,
bit on the damage is the
but yeah, man, Sakai. I'm never doing it again. He's on my never ever list after that.
Don't touch Sakai. Yeah.
Yeah, Tai Tuivasa. I've doubted him a couple of times, and it sucks betting against Tai Tuivasa because then you're left out of the party after you win. Just like, oh, man, like picked against him. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I can be like, that was cool, but like, wasn't that cool for me as I'm looking up all the bets and parlays that had fucked up for me. Like, I'm like, why did I doubt Tai there? You know, you gotta love Tai.
No one seems to take him down and hold him down like his losses are. You know, it's just.
Yeah, I remember I bet heavily with Stefan Struve in that fight against Tai. I was like, Struve, you just have to take him down, arm triangle, get out of there. Just can't do it. It's easier said than done with Tai. Yeah. So, you know.
Perfect, man. Right. Your lady, Jillian.
Yes. Jillian the Savage Robertson.
I'll let you take all of this because I know you know
she's one of my favorite fighters, if not my favorite fighter. I've become a very close personal friend over the last few years. I actually met her after her fight with Macy Barber in Boston a couple of years ago. First thing I said to her was, I bet against you tonight. I did not like this matchup for you. And she was like, oh, thanks. Like, and from there, you know, a beautiful friendship. She is so damn underappreciated by the UFC. I think she is the most underappreciated fighter in the UFC. And a lot of people right away are going to say that. Exactly. Wow. But I'm just going to take you through a few numbers here. When Jillian gets you down, she does not let you up. To the fact that her takedown, her percentage of top control time in a fight is 62%. That is the highest in any fighter in UFC history. It gets better, though. 6 finishes in flyweight history, 1 TKO and 5 submissions. No fighter has 6 finishes in the UFC in the flyweight division. She's the only one, including Valentina Shevchenko. She finished Priscilla Cachoeira, who missed weight by 3 pounds. She's had multiple PED infringements in her career. Ends up poking her in, gouging her in the eye 2 times as the ref looks right at it, does nothing about it, chokes her out with 1 second to go in the round. That's the second time Jillian's done that. Second time Jillian's choked out a girl with no hooks in. She did it to Courtney Casey, too. Does not need hooks in. She is completely underappreciated. It is crazy. She was a -400 favorite in this fight. And it's like for a girl like that, when she has next to no striking, correct. She does not have great striking. Her defensive striking, her best defensive attribute is her toughness, period. You know, but I can tell you that if she gets you down, you are in her world. And that is all she needs. If she can't get you down, yes, there's going to be issues. But frankly, I think that the level of competition she's been facing is showed in that last fight with Priscilla. She actually had some good shots on the feet herself. I think her offensive striking is not as bad as some people think. And she's got great wrestling. And she finishes these fights. 6 finishes, 5 finishes by submission. She's a legit black belt. She's going around training with tons of good girls, and she just doesn't put herself out there on social media. She could easily do that and get way more of a following and way more people's eyes on her. She does not, she just doesn't seem to care about that. She is legit about this life, legit black belt, training with Raquel Pennington, Miranda Maverick this last fight camp. Going around traveling, doing jiu-jitsu tournaments in Mexico City, going to Oregon for Submission Underground and facing Caitlin Chikagian, facing crazy levels of competition out there. She is constantly keeping herself active, and no one talks about her. This is the first time Dana White's been at one of her face-offs since her debut. It's the first time she ever has talked to Joe Rogan after one of her wins.
Wow.
And in all of that time, she has 0 bonuses. They gave out 8 bonuses on Saturday. They gave out one to Bruno Silva for kind of knocking out Jordan Wright.
I know.
Like,
when I heard that and not Jillian, when she got eye gouged, you haven't even talked about the eye gouge. It's insane.
Right. She got eye gouged multiple times by a girl who missed weight. Like, and then it's just like this, and then that's not bonus worthy. It's like that's not on a card where he gives out 8 bonuses. You got to be kidding me. It's 6 finishes now for Jillian, 0 bonuses, and she doesn't care about any of this. She just wants to keep fighting. I think that her next fight is going to be against someone very good again. Her losses coming to Miranda Maverick and Talia Santos. She took a round off each one of those ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, and we saw Miranda Maverick this past weekend, Erin Blanchfield. I don't think she gets the Erin Blanchfield fight, but I'm telling you, she's. Oh yeah, by the way, Jillian Robertson, 26 years old, in her 5th year in the UFC.
That's not talked about enough.
And people don't know who she is. Like, they look at her as a girl with red hair. Like, that's it. That's all they know. And it's just, to me, it's just crazy. I legit think she is the most underappreciated fighter in the UFC. I think she's incredibly marketable. I think she's got great skill. I think that she can compete with anybody in the division.
Yeah.
And anybody. And yeah, I mean, I am looking forward to her getting back in there. I think she's going to get back in there very quickly. You know, and I think that she's really just going to continue to find her way. I think this year was a very challenging year for her, for sure, from a lot of different perspectives. And for her to fight the way she did against Cachoeira there, you know, it's a winless position for her because she's supposed to do that, or she loses to someone she was super favored against. She looked like a minus 1,000 favorite. You know, it's hard to look better than your favorite when you're minus 400, and she did. And just, again, a girl was heavier than her, who was cheating. And then, you know, like, yeah, it's just Jillian is incredible. And I just think more people need to appreciate her. You know.
Yeah, we got a hello fellas as well there.
And
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy. We'll see you for one of these soon. Just got to the end of my Jillian rant. She's heard it many times, though. So, yeah, Jillian, I am glad that kind of the eye gouge has become a meme. I'm seeing it all over the place, and that's pretty cool. But I also wish people would recognize who's doing the choke and how incredible that fighter is. 6 finishes is, again, a flyweight record. She's 26 years old and in her 5th year in the UFC. Crazy.
I think that's a good question to ask, and that's a good one for the comments. Is who is the most underappreciated person? Because that is an extremely well rehearsed case almost for Jillian.
I've been talking about it for years.
I know. The only one off the top of my head is Leon. Leon is so damn underappreciated, especially from a UK.
But he's appreciated now. People appreciate him. People know who he is. I don't think he is. I still don't think he is. But for the point where he is at in his career, I think he is just so undervalued. But yeah, this card was painful for you, girl. Yeah. Hey, trust me, we're
like gouging, no bonuses.
Yeah. Just the no bonus. Like, after it happened with Jillian, I was just like, the whole night, I was like, Jillian's got every single finish that would happen, I was like, Jillian's better than that. She's still got the bonus. Like, I'm keeping track in my head. I'm like, this is, and it's just, it's like, it's the money, and it's just the recognition of her name deserves to be up there. Again, they don't even mention that she passes Valentina Shevchenko for the most finishes in the flyweight division. Why is that not up there? Instead, they're showing fucking Ryan Fredrickson tweeting about what whoever these fucking scrubs are who are in the tweets. I don't care about that. Show the flyweight record holder. Talk about how she's 26. Talk about how young she is. All you talk about during the Erin fucking Blanchfield Miranda Maverick fight is Miranda Maverick's under 25. Oh my God, Miranda Maverick. Yo, put Miranda Maverick back against Jillian. Jillian wins that fight. Just saying. But you know, that was one she shouldn't have lost. Period.
To me, she should be getting pay-per-view top of the prelims minimum right now.
She's opening fucking cards.
Fight night, she should be on the main card, and she should be fighting someone like JoJo now.
Yeah. Oh,
JoJo
they don't want JoJo
she has been up there. I 100% agree. And you know, I love JoJo. So someone like that, Jessica Eyes, the Macy Barbers, all these people that, you know, they think they're the dog's bollocks, but they're not. They think they're great, but they're not.
Right.
She's actually performing on the prelims.
Yeah, and the Macy Barber fight, that was stopped so early. It's just like such a weird, you know, it was a very weird stoppage, and, you know, but either way, Jillian's record shows she doesn't say no to a fight.
Yeah, that's going to help her in the long run, in my opinion, especially this age.
Yeah, it's going to help her. I mean, her MMA debut was against Hannah Goldie.
I know.
Like her second fight was against Hannah Cyphers. It's just like over and over again. Like it's just like, what about Rose getting knocked for not having a chance to finish Riley before the first fight? Well, Rose has most knockdowns in female.
I don't think she's underappreciated though, Rose. She's won belt twice.
Rose, the most beloved fighter.
She won Fighter of the Year as well. That can't be underappreciated.
No. Rose is very appreciated, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, Jillian Robertson, most people don't even know that her last name isn't Robinson. This is the thing. And she's been in the UFC for 5 years. And she's 26. She's not 30. She's not 32. Like, she's 26 years old. Like,
there you go.
People are sleeping. Early predictions for Brandon Figgy 3.
BP wants to know.
Okay.
Go on.
My take is that I'm going to be on Brandon Moreno in this fight. And there's a few reasons why. The main reason is making 125 pounds, though. And I know it might sound like a little bit of a cop-out, but if this is a 130 fight, I'm probably taking Figueiredo to be able to do it. I just think that Figueiredo is not a flyweight at this point in his career. I do think Brandon Moreno's got a lot of confidence after 2 fights in there with Figueiredo and really, getting the better of him. And but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Moreno. Minus 165 is beautiful. Anything under minus 200, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think the cut, if Figueiredo struggles, if it's a tough cut for him, you got to go with Moreno for the 5-rounder, based on that second fight and how good Moreno looked and how he dictated the pace. He implemented his own game plan. He created distance was perfect. The ground game was slick. Everything was just working perfect for Moreno, and I don't see how that changes when he's drastically improving every fight and he's still young.
He's working hard. He's staying in good camps.
Buying his Lego, the nerd's buying Lego. So
he stays out of trouble. He's got 5 kids or whatever. Like he
trains with everybody as well. He went and trained with Valentina for a while. He's learning skill set more than the body.
And the other key is he's been kicked out of the UFC and he's back. I don't think you ever forget that.
Yeah, he's got the value.
It takes a long time, so yeah, I think
we're both on Moreno. Then you go, BP.
Yeah, I think that's pretty simple.
There'll be a proper betting one on Aaron's channel, I'm sure, when that comes around, and then there'll breakdown of mine. So he says skill for skill, Brandon Moreno's better. That might be true, but like MMA so often it doesn't matter who's better skill for skill. I just think Figgy hits you. That's the thing. He hits you clean.
And if Figgy's able to hit you clean for 3 to 5 rounds, which he'd be able to do at bantamweight, then it's a whole nother, set of issues, and maybe Brandon still wins that fight. I'm just saying Figueiredo was the best flyweight in the world for quite a while there. What he did with Joseph Benavidez, I just can't really forget that. And I get that Moreno is better than Benavidez, but everybody's going to hate me for this. But Benavidez got in there with Moreno. We're hearing both guys' names as the judges call the decision probably. It's probably a split decision type of ordeal with those two. So it's just maybe not at this point with how much has happened to Benavidez, but seriously, Moreno is really, really good though, and I mean, he should be able to take this.
Yeah, man, for sure. I got one more question, then we're going to wrap this up, and it's what I asked Brad Wheeler, and I'm going to be asking a few more people. I made a video on it.
Yep.
And I'd like the comments to come back as well with this one, which is, what do you make of the oblique kick? It's got a lot of criticism lately, and I'll give you the devil's advocate version because from a professional point of view, you can ask every fighter you know about this, especially Jillian, if you're talking to her so recently as well, which is Brad hates it, for instance. It's a career-ending move where he says it's not necessary. It's a complete cheap shot almost, and it takes no skill from a fighter's point of view. This is his version of it. Obviously, not in the UFC, not making crazy money. So this is this standard of MMA. He's in Cage Warriors where he's earning maybe a few thousand a fight maximum. I don't know. I don't actually know how much Cage Warriors earns. Dominic Wooding isn't probably earning a lot of money.
That was how he's talking about how he's like, I'm never fighting in Cage Warriors again. He's not getting paid shit.
No. so from that point of view, where if you don't quite make it to the UFC, and even if you do, you're not necessarily making crazy money.
Right.
Is it worth having a career-ending injury that can stop you working in real life, essentially, if you've got another job? So if you're doing, building work, for instance, you would not be able to walk properly for the rest of your life. It could do that kind of damage. But my point of view was, is that more than a shin to the face and getting a bleed on the brain? Is that more than any other punishment you could take? A heel hook tearing your knee apart.
That's what I'm saying. These are all arguments used against leg locks. These are all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a leg lock is like you're specifically trying to tear an arm bar. You can break an arm, like.
But that's more an arm lock is a dislocation and it heals properly. But these ones,
you can break it Frank Mir style. You can get it Frank Mir style. Like when you're levering the arm, you're trying to break it. It's tap it or snap. Like you're trying to injure the arm. You're trying to disable the arm. That's why it was designed. Like so. I mean, it does take skill. Like that's the thing. It does take skill. It's just like no, you're not allowed to do that. It's like what if I punch you so hard that your neck, whiplash, whatever. Like. It's like when I'm punching you, I'm trying to break your jaw. I'm trying to break your teeth. Like I'm trying to hurt you. Like everything is. Yeah, I'm totally fine with oblique kicks.
I personally am. I side with you. I just play devil's advocate for this discussion. That's all.
Yeah.
I like.
Who am I to judge Brad Wheeler or any guy who's done it in any level? I've never fought amateur wise, not yet. I'm working on my amateur debut. We'll see if we can get that happening or not. I'm gonna say maybe next year. But either way, like I just don't think I can be like, wait till you're in the UFC to use this oblique kick. Like
that was my thing. Should it be banned from amateur MMA, for instance, where you're not allowed?
Amateurs walk around in shin guards too, don't they? Like so, like it's
no twisting submissions, no elbows, no blocks. In
fine. That's fine. I'm fine with all that. But oblique kicks, keep them.
I'm with you. Okay, I'll ask Modestus when I can speak to him as well.
Nice. Yeah, you can tell him the guy who never fights is totally okay with.
I wonder what he thinks after his knee surgery.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do it. Yeah, it's fine. You should avoid the kick.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
It's just, I can't say that because it hurts people. No, I also, so. But it was a painful 269 at times for me, man. Huge Poirier fan. So that was tough to see. But most importantly, Jillian the Savage Robertson, most underappreciated fighter in the UFC. Go ahead and find a better argument out there and send it to me because
we'll make a video on it. We'll make a video on it.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it. But otherwise, Jillian is top flyweight record holder for most finishes. People go watch all 6 of them. It won't take you longer than like 18 minutes to get through all those. So they're fun.
And then you'll appreciate,
Yeah, and then go give Savage a follow. Say Aaron the Dog sent you.
Heck yeah, man. Have you got anything? Have you got anything for next week?
I mean, we're always rolling. This Wednesday or Thursday, be breaking down the final card of the year with the UFC. A little sleeper with Derek Lewis versus Chris Daukaus.
To
end the year. That's a fascinating fight. I picked against Chris Daukaus in all of his fights so far in the UFC.
I think I've picked Chris Daukaus in this fight.
I'm still not decided, but if I pick him, you better go bet on Lewis because I've bet against Daukaus in all of his fights, including against Parker Porter. I bet Parker Porter.
You bought? So, oh wow!
Yes, I sure did. I bet Nascimento against Chris Daukaus. These have been painful misses. I did not bet Abdurakhimov, so thank God I actually did bet Daukaus in that one. So
good.
Maybe it's not the kiss of death, but got that on the channel. We're gonna be breaking down the Cage Warrior or Cage Fury Fighting Championship in Titan FC. Gonna break those down. Only channel on YouTube doing those. So the lines are available. So I'm gonna do a video on that. So those 2 are this week, and then it'll be a little break until the UFC and MMA comes back in 2022. We're gonna have like a couple weeks off after this. So definitely enjoying the UFC this weekend. But great to be on here.
Awesome,
so
man.
Fun to talk about these fights.
That's it. Nice chat show. And we'll every Monday, whenever there's a UFC on at the weekend, get it. Even if we get a nice 30 minutes in, no problem at all.
Yeah,
cheers,
absolutely.
Dude. I do appreciate you coming on, and thanks all for joining as well.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Perfect. All right, then, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers, all.
Peace.